And that one is that's the genealogy of Jesus from Matthew's gospel.
Wow.
Actually, you know what, Jamie, if you go up to the search bar and put CSNTM, those letters, csntm.org. So this is the Center for the Study of New Testament Manuscripts. So if you click Digital Manuscript Collection, so they go around the world and they try to digitize all the existing New Testament manuscripts to preserve them. And so you can actually, you see there on the side, you can click, I want to look at a papyri, and you can go the different conventions of, the date or the time.
And so you could read the translation and then go.
Wittenberg Project. One of the best things about this Wes Huff, Joe Rogan, Billy Carson type issue is not just the fact that he destroyed him in a debate. Beyond that, him on the Joe Rogan gave a chance to show the scholarly side of Christianity.
Let's in the corner there. That one on
Far left corner?
Oh no, here, now it's moved because he clicked it. That one, yeah, click that. So that's linear Elamite.
Whoa.
And so that's in and around the same time that languages like Sumerian. So there's this very interesting kind of, if we're talking about a story in the Bible like the Tower of Babel, where it says that God confused their languages and everybody started speaking different languages, you have these languages that just pop up and out of nowhere and have no relation to one another. So Akkadian starts to adopt certain words in Sumerian, but they're still Sumerian words.
For years, everybody's been focused on I'm spiritual, not religious, and things like that. And kind of removing the aspect of the intellectual basis of doctrines and things that are important and why historically things matter. One of the things I noticed is a lot of the traction, a good portion of atheists and non-believers and actually religious against Christianity is they play on the lack of intellectualism that a lot of believers have. I'm not saying they're stupid, they just decide not to engage in it. So when I talk about things like textual criticism, like you'll literally hear people deny tenets of the Bible and it's based on, what Bible? That's a translation of a translation of a translation. They'll do things like that. Wes Huff on the Joe Rogan show showed the level that goes into the level of intellect and research and scholarly.
Go back to Tepe.
Yeah.
Or actually, good segue.
That's the best one, right?
So I made one. I made something for you.
Ooh.
So I make papyri facsimiles. Oh, my description is a little bit wonky here. Fix that. So you were talking about what is our oldest manuscript evidence. So this guy is P52, John Ryland's 457. So that's a genuine Egyptian papyri that I made. I cut it out for you, and then I transcribed the text on that manuscript. So when we're talking about what is potentially our oldest evidence for the New Testament, this manuscript that most likely comes from Oxyrhynchus, Egypt, is the one that usually is universally accepted as our oldest one. And that contains John 18, where Jesus is on trial before Pilate. And so that's the one. It's in the John Rylands Library in Manchester, England.
So this is a copy of that exactly? This is exactly what it looks like?
Yeah, so I cut that out on the papyri with a scalpel, and then I transcribed the text on.
You did a great job, dude.
And
this is, you nerded out.
I know. I'm
for real nerded out. This is a real nerding out of.
So that's actually, so that's someone else's facsimile, which is not as good as the one I made.
It's not as good. Yours is better.
And where
you really got to understand, there's some genius people that are Christian and are of the faith that do this work when it comes to translating Bibles, texts, and things of this nature. And to have him on a stage like this and then to put that foot forward. Because it was a time where, and I'm not highlighting this time where, but it's something to note that pastors, priests, bishops, they had a sense of authority. People talk to them and realize, on some note, they know more than me, and I should at least take what they're saying, not just at face value, because you don't just believe anything at face value. You should be a Berean about it. But I do understand that, okay, they know a little more than me. Let me at least listen and hear them out. In today's society, people they just say whatever and people run with. That's why a lot of times on this channel, 'cause I'm not a pastor, well studied. I mean, I pat myself on the back, but I won't say so. But I reference pastors. I interviewed pastors. I talked to pastors, people who have went to school and studied and thoroughly went through this stuff, and then I do my own research, whatever, and talk to them about it. And a lot of times it's not new thought. I'm not trying to defend myself or nothing, but it's not new thought. It's things that I've already viewed with them and talked to them, and it's been taught throughout church history. So when people are coming with these harebrained schemes like Billy Carson and other people, I mean, I'm not saying a list of names of heretics out there. Like there's some people who say, oh, St. Paul, why are you even referencing him? He wasn't blah, 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 right? And people are like, yeah, good point. And they don't even waste time to find someone like a Wes Huff or someone who's deep in the study to actually say, why do we hold him in this regard historically? A big thing Wes Huff did is he mentioned how the historicity to verify something is a field, bar none. It's not like just a religious field that, oh, you have to have faith to even engage in this dumb study of historic artifacts and stories. No. The same thing they used to, he mentioned Beowulf, he mentioned Shakespeare, other historical artifacts in history and how they verify the literature of that time and compare it to other versions of that literature to see the development in it, to see how accurate the text they have is, how this text actually corresponds to what we know in history of that time. An example, he mentioned in Egypt, how we've only discovered as a people, not just Christian, this is a legit educational, intellectual field. It's not just, oh, it's the Christians. No, it's not that. We've only discovered 1% of Egypt's, like through artifacts, their history in a sense. Joe Rogan asked some questions, and it was interesting, his answer. His answer was, well, we know it's only 1% because we're looking at their documentation of all the kings and stuff, and we've only got such a small number of tombs that we've excavated that references. These other guys are out here somewhere, and their history, is pretty deep, So to have our intellectual side broadcasted and literally lambasted, it's over 2 million views in a couple of days. One of the successful things that atheists have done is like they'll downplay, oh, you believe in a daddy in the sky? And they'll downplay someone of faith with minimizing that, oh, you believe that? Like, okay, basically you're just trying to shun somebody without even engaging in it. Wes gives people who don't have the faith to stand up to that person and might be shunned by them some type of ground foundational, nah, bro, like, let's not do that. Jesus was a historical figure, actually happened in real time space, really happened. The presumptionist argument, and don't get me wrong, precept people, no issue with y'all. I don't really, I'm more evidentiary. They'll just say the Bible says it, it's what's good, Nothing's wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? But for people who want to actually engage the argument, go back and forth, that's where cats like Wes Huff come in, where you could talk to them and actually engage them based on how we do studies of historic art documents, how we verify the historicity of it, how we do this. And this interview to me is very impactful. It's very impactful for the non-believer, for believers on the ropes, for people who are deconstructing and just searching through YouTube, believing whoever pops up, whatever story happens, they just run with. Like, this is a big deal. And I'm personally thankful. Now, there are some things that Wes Huff was light on, you know what I'm saying, like creationism and things of that nature, but creationism isn't what saves you. Believing in a literal 6-day creation doesn't save you. Believing in a global flood doesn't save you. I'm not saying that they didn't happen. I hold to him. But what I am saying is him not being as strong on that. He's not a pastor, people. He's not a pastor. He's a religious scholar. Like, he's studying artifacts. Have fair criticisms. Have fair criticisms, because that's not right. Like what he did was amazing. Amazing. Also, him dismantling Billy Carson was amazing. In the most Christian fashion ever. You know what I'm saying? He's just, hey, can we reason? Can we talk? And just from a conversation was just bing, 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 bing. He was just, if you have time, you want to watch the most pleasant beating of a person ever? The most gracious, I can't use that word, but beat kicking ever? Go check out Wes Huff v. Billy Carson. It was just a conversation. It was like, hey, didn't you say this, this, this? I was wondering why. What basis do you use? When he asked Billy Carson that question, that goes into what I'm saying. There is a standard within the community that they go by to verify the historicity of things. Period. Like, not just Christians. Like, period. If you find an artifact or a document written, there's standards they use to verify that, no matter whose document it is. It could be a Hindu document. It could be a Mayan Aztec document. It could be anything. There's a standard. He's asking Billy Carson these questions, and you start seeing through the charismatic lens people have. People think because someone gets in front of the camera and their personality is popping and they're a little funny, a little hearty, har. I like him. What's he saying? Oh, yeah, that's true. No. There's something. I read some boring people. There's books I have of some boring people. But they're brilliant. What they're saying, when you actually delve into it, is brilliant. Not entertaining at all. Then you have people who are brilliant and entertaining. I love them. They're just kind of rare. Anyhow, Wittenberg Project. Check out the Joe Rogan interview with Wes Huff. If you're in the mood for, if you're a boxing fan, you know what I'm saying? If you're I shouldn't say that, because it was not a physical fight. It's just, man, but I almost would rather someone punch me to make me look that stupid on TV, though. Anyhow, have a good day. Stay blessed.